Hi. The legalization of marijuana is a very prominent and controversial issue in society today. In some states, it is classified as a Schedule I drug, meaning high potential for abuse and not safe to use under medical usage. So possession of marijuana can be a felony charge depending on the situation either way. Either way, it makes you a criminal. But in this day and age, numerous states have allowed patients to be prescribed marijuana. If you compare to cigarettes or alcohol, which are illegal, it's completely harmless. Also, prohibiting marijuana has caused an increase in violent crimes. Therefore, I strongly believe marijuana should be legalized for all usage. My first point I would like to make is making marijuana legal also decriminalizes possession of it in small amounts, according to the book, The Long and Winding Road to Cannabis Legalization. So you have less chances of having a criminal record and sent to prison. Also, taxpayers have to pay for every individual that is sent to prison, so it costs taxpayers billions of dollars every year. So if marijuana was legalized, regulated, and taxed like every other good, it would bring lots of money to the federal government. Jeff Myron wrote an executive summary on the marijuana policy and estimated that the tax revenue generated from marijuana be upwards of $2.4 billion annually, $2.4 billion annually, if it were taxed like everyday goods, and as high as $6.2 billion annually if it was taxed like alcohol and tobacco. According to the state marijuana laws map, which is attached online, shows 25 states and DC have legalized marijuana in some form. So you have Colorado, DC, and Alaska and Oregon have legalized it for medical and recreational use. In Alaska, adults 21 and older can transport, buy, and have up to an ounce in 6 plants. Oregon adults can have an ounce in public and 8 ounces in their home, which will take effect starting July 1st of this year. Colorado and Washington State have a similar standard, which began in 2012. Nevada has legalized it for medical use, but they have a voting ballot coming up this year, which will probably make it legalized for recreation use also. Louisiana legalized medical use, so cannabis can be used for treatment and doctors can prescribe medical marijuana. And Pennsylvania became the most recent state to legalize medical marijuana. So you have Colorado, Oregon, Alaska, DC, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, Maine, Hawaii that have legalized marijuana in some form. So all of these states have also decriminalized marijuana in a certain way. There was a study done on the impact of alcohol consumption and marijuana on a high school graduation. The researchers found that decriminalizing marijuana reduces the probability of becoming a frequent drinker. Now, we all know the long and short-term effects of drinking alcohol, which brings me to my next point, marijuana being more beneficial than harmful. According to Stephen Pudney, there's no evidence that cannabis is potentially damaging to a user. Stephen says that the only thing he worries about is cannabis being a gateway drug, that somehow the market needs to separate cannabis and harder drugs as far as possible, because some users may come under pressure to migrate to harder drugs, which would lead to long-term harm. So my point here is that marijuana is more beneficial than harmful. So being beneficial, we should first consider the 25 states legalized the medical usage. Based on Dr. Sarah Lee Landsman's study, states started to regulate the access to marijuana specifically for medical patients. According to Pediatric Marijuana Exposure article, marijuana is used for patients with conditions such as cancer, glaucoma, HIV or AIDS, muscle spasms, seizures, severe pain, and severe nausea. Imagine seeing a loved one suffer from one of these conditions and is in really bad pain, and the doctor has told them there's a drug out there, but there's a drug out there that can take your pain away or lessen it, but there's no way we have access to it because of political reasons. I would be angry, and the patient would be highly upset. So that's why marijuana needs to be legalized for all uses. My third point. Lastly, prohibition. It has not helped the country in any way. It has actually caused a lot of problems. There's no evidence that prohibition has decreased drug usage. According to a book called Dealing Deaths and Drugs, most people ignore prohibition. The respect for the law has been greatly lessened, and crime has increased to a level never seen before. Violent crimes skyrocketed during Prohibition, with outrageous profits provided by the black market, with a number of unregulated outlaws, criminal association battling to control their share of it. And without access to the courts to resolve business disputes, homicides are the answer to the questions then for Prohibition criminal entrepreneurs. And it's pretty clear that the end of alcohol prohibition didn't produce an increase of high crimes and drunkenness. And in fact, it decreased violent crimes. It decreased hard alcohol consumption. It decreased federal spending and increased tax receipts. Concerning all the many problems that come with alcohol, it's been regulated, controlled, and taxed. So all of its inherent risks and dangers associated with it and benefits derived from it, it's been accepted. So imagine what will happen once marijuana is legalized, regulated, controlled, and taxed. Decreased crime, decreased overuse of consumption, increased tax receipts. So, as you can tell, marijuana is very beneficial. In my opinion, marijuana should be legalized. The legalization of marijuana leads to affordable relief for medical conditions, decriminalization, and a decrease in violent crimes, and more money for the government. Hope you enjoyed my speech. Have a good one.